do not move to St. George unless you can handle these 10 things. Now, in case you're a local and you're gonna get really mad at us for saying anything bad about St. George, we love living in St. George, but there's pros and cons to any area, so we're gonna get into the cons. And we've definitely met people who've come out here who have thought, St. George is gonna be the best place, it's gonna be totally for me, and then it's not. Usually because of one of the reasons that we're going to talk about right now. So let's get started. And number one, now this one's obvious, right? So that's the brutally hot summers, right? So I actually saw a survey the other day, and there was, people were asking, what would you rather have, a brutally hot summer or a really frigid winter? And it was literally like 50-50.
Yeah, I would say it's more of a perception thing. Like if you're braced for it,
yeah,
you're fine. If you're going, I'm going into, I don't know, like Southern California weather, right? Like, the best weather in the world. You're going to be in for a rude awakening. Yeah. So that's where you're going to go, okay, I get it. Like, get my mind right. Understand that it's going to be hot in the summers, particularly June, July, August.
Yeah.
It's hot. There's no other way around it. It just is what it is. You're going to hit triple digits. You may even hit past the 110s a little bit, but it's going to be hot. Just be aware of it. Now, you still can work around it. So you can. So what's nice about the St. George weather is, one, it's a dry heat. So you're not dealing with the suffocating humidity with those temperatures, thank goodness, because I would say that our hot summers are hot. There are worse summers. Hint, Texas.
Hint, Florida.
Very unbearable summers, in our opinion.
I actually think Phoenix is worse too. Like, it's longer than ours. Like, we're a little bit cooler. Vegas is worse.
Vegas is worse, yeah.
Vegas is worse, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that, hey, it's going to be hot. There's another way to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
But again, you can get your mornings. Like, a lot of people, they still want to have the outdoor lifestyle, and they can get their golfing, hiking, pickleball in basically before 11, particularly, between 6 and 10. You're actually in pretty good shape. It's actually pretty pleasant. It's just that the heat comes in after that, and it stays till night, and that's when you're just lounging by the pool. And again, and the heat dissipates a little bit.
Yeah. Another con, and a reason that maybe someone wouldn't want to live here, is the homes are higher than the median home price for the U.S. Median home price. So it is a little bit on the pricier side. Not terribly so. Like, our business partner Sue, she likes to describe St. George as the nicest cheap place to live. So obviously it's a desirable place to live. So more people want to live here. So the prices are a little higher, but it's not crazy or anything like that. But at the same time, if you're looking for like the cheapest place to live, like, I don't know, Houston, Texas is like consistently on one of the cheapest places to live. Like, it's not like that. So
yeah, and I would definitely say that, we're actually lower than the median price for the state of Utah. So we are a better value from that perspective. But as far as the general whole of the country, we're definitely above the median sales price for the country. It just is what it is. We get people like reaching out, all sorts. Like, they find, like, a lot of people find that St. George may actually be a very good value. Mm-hmm. And then other people go, like, I was, expecting something cheaper. So they're kind of across the board. So it really is just kind of depending on what you're looking for. But like you said, and like what Sue said, is that, the cheapest nice place to live, in that this is, like, let's be real, people vacation here. This is a vacation destination. And what that usually implies is pretty pricey. Most of these places that are, where you'd go to go on vacation, people want to be there. They want to stay there if they can. So it tends to cost more money, and that's certainly the case here, but really it is a good value for what you're getting. So while the median, let's say, I think the median price for the United States is about $400,000, give or take, and for St. George it's about $500,000. So again, obviously depending on when you watch this video, that could change a bit, but it's a bit more, not ridiculously so, like from some of these other, again, destination locations, but again, there's a bit of a premium.
Yeah.
So before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sean Azad.
And I'm Courtney Azad, and we are licensed real estate agents here in the state of Utah.
And if you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, wow, Sean, I love St. George. I love the Red Rocks. I love the energy of the area. I can't wait to move out here now. The problem is I'm not local. I may be even out of state, so I don't know what to do. And I totally get that. That's why you reach out to us so we can have that conversation, really figure out what you're looking for and be your boots on the ground. And our team has over 40 years of experience here in St. George itself. And so someone's always available for you to take you and show you those properties, or even before you come out here, we can do virtual tours of not just the properties but the neighborhoods as well, so we can be your boots on the ground. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country. Another con is there's definitely limited shopping, and the way that we like to describe it is, everything that you need on a day-to-day basis is here. And if you've ever watched this channel before, you may have heard Sean say, it actually does hit above its weight class for shopping, but that doesn't mean we have everything. I mean, there's no like luxury shopping. If you need a nice dress or like a nice suit or something, you might need to go to Las Vegas.
Or just order from Amazon.
Although I don't personally like to do that because
you don't know how the fit is.
Yeah, unless it's like a specific company that I know how it fits. Like I don't personally like to do that. So
yeah, so it has pretty much all the major big box stores. You have your Targets, your Walmarts, most importantly your Costco's. You have you have your Best Buys, your TJ Maxx's, your Ross. Like so you have like pretty much all the major ones. It's just that of course if you're looking for the Louis Vuittons, like you're looking for Hermes, you're looking for Hugo Boss, like you're looking for like higher end stuff, more specialty.
Even Nordstrom's, like they don't have a Nordstrom's.
That's
here.
true. They don't have a Nordstrom's. They don't have a Macy's here.
Yeah.
So like there are certain things that we don't have here because remember the population of this greater St. George area is about 200,000 people, give or take. And so it's like you can't have everything because people just don't shop there. In fact, surprisingly, we do have an H&M here, which is kind of interesting. So we do have actually decent amount. It's just that we don't have everything. But what's great is that pretty much the biggest shopping destination in the world is about an hour and a half away, an hour and 45 minutes away in Las Vegas, where you can have all the shopping you could ever ask for is right there, but you're not dealing with that crazy hustle and bustle that Las Vegas offers.
Yeah. Another con of this area is I would definitely say there are limited jobs. Obviously, Utah is known as a very business-friendly state, but our area is pretty small, so it's not that economically diverse. You're not going to find every type of job that you could look for. It is, it's a growing economy. It's doing well, but it's just small.
Yeah, the variety is definitely not there. So like obviously unemployment rate is ridiculously low. So it's not like an unemployment issue. It's just that what kind of job are you looking to do? This doesn't have everything to offer here.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is. Like obviously over the years we've definitely had this uptick of people that are like remote working and that kind of thing where they want to actually live where they want to live, but they can actually do over Zoom or whatever, they can do their remote work. Or of course there are some jobs here, but again, certainly not to the level of a big metropolitan area for sure.
Yeah, of course, if you are coming here to retire, then you're lucky. You don't have to think about that.
That's true.
So another con, we were talking about limited shopping. I would say there's also limited dining here. It's not to say that there aren't good restaurants here. There are, but it's just that, for us personally, there's probably like 3 or 4, and then everything else we're like, eh. And then, if you want a specific thing, like, I want this type of cuisine, you're not going to find it,
So we're foodies, right? So I guess like we're just kind of more nitpicky about this kind of stuff. So I would say that you just don't have the level of fine dining options or variety, honestly. Like there's just, like so medium to fine dining. Like all the basics are here, of course, all the fast food places and, all that stuff is totally here. There's definitely a lot of dining options for sure. It's just that, again, when you come from a larger population center.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to put it other than there just aren't there isn't that high level of variety that you already like zero in on. Like this is where we go to all the time, or whatever. So, and also you don't have a huge diversity of cuisines here by a big margin or anything like that. You have it; they're all represented for the most part, but it's just that you don't have like a plethora of them.
Yeah, I mean, the only good thing, though, is that, Vegas is only an hour and 45 minutes down the road, and you can easily go for a day. We have done it many times. If I'm, getting in the mood for something really good that they don't have here, we'll just go to Vegas, so. Yeah,
I mean, that's definitely, if you have that itch, Vegas is the place to scratch it. I mean, they got some of the best dining in the world right there. Yeah. So, like we're ready for just something a little bit different. So now 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's it's a day trip, and it's nice to like fill in the cracks with Vegas for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Now, this next one, it may seem a little bit weird because for some people, this is why they love St. George. Yeah. But we have had clients come here, check out St. George, and then they choose somewhere else because of this reason. And that is they just feel that it's too small. Like I actually remember a client, she came here, she thought St. George was a place for her, but then she ultimately picked Scottsdale, Arizona, because she just liked the bigger metropolitan area. I guess it can almost feel like you're on an island in some ways because you are sort of, you're an hour and 45 minutes from Las Vegas, and then you're about 4 hours in the summer from Salt Lake City, and then, depending if there's a storm or anything, you take up to like 15 hours to get to Salt Lake City. So, I guess it just depends on your personality. Like if you're wanting that metropolitan life, then I don't know. St. George, it really isn't for you.
Yeah, it's definitely, and again, I will be completely like transparent about this. St. George is almost a minimum population that I could actually tolerate myself. From coming from a bigger population center, like if it was any smaller, like honestly, like, and not to like bag on it, just like 45 minutes up the road in Cedar City, that's too small for me. Like I really couldn't handle it. Honestly, it does feel like there's certain thresholds with the shopping and dining and just the difference of activities and stuff like that. Like that 200,000 population is like that sweet spot where it really needs to be at that level. If it was any lower than that, I personally would have probably had a hard time. I mean, again, like St. George 10 years ago might have been a little too small for us.
Yeah.
But where we're at right now, we're at a nice level where like that medium metropolitan size, basically.
Yeah, I think one good way to look at it is there a Costco? Because if there's not a Costco, like there isn't in Cedar City, for us personally, it would just be too inconvenient, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's everyone's personal taste. And then on the other side, there's people that are like, I would rather live in Cedar City because I want that. Like, that's
exactly
what I want. Like Sean's best friend, he lives all the way out in Virgin, which is about 30 minutes from here, but it's really isolated because that's what he wants.
Well, and then off the beaten path, another like 30 minutes. So it's not like he's even just 30 minutes. Like it's like he's a good hour feels like in some portions of it where like, again, that would just be too desolate for me personally. Like I like bigger population centers personally. And St. George is again that threshold where for me it works, but for some people it actually might be even too small.
Yeah. So another con, at least this is a con for some people, is there is, I would say, a lack of greenery in St. George. Although I will say this with a caveat, for a desert area, I mean, it is a desert. It's actually a lot greener than you'd think because we do have the Virgin River and the Santa Clara River. So that adds a lot more green than you'd think. And then, 45 minutes, you're in the mountains. So then you get that green right there, that alpine greenery. However, just, one of my good friends, she lives in North Carolina and she is always sending me pictures of these luscious trails that she's in and all this stuff. I mean, if that's what you like, then it might not be for you. I actually know someone that moved here from Oregon and, he doesn't want to go back to Oregon, for various reasons. Variety of reasons. But he says he does miss the green and the rain and just the more water and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like our forest, again, at this altitude, right, at about the 2,600 foot altitude, it's high desert, right? That's what it is. I mean, we're like you said, though, we are more green. Like, so for instance, obviously compared to Palm Springs
or Vegas,
Vegas. Oh, yeah,
Vegas
that's true.
So it's like all brown.
Yes,
all brown. Here is definitely much more green.
Yes, so definitely be more of an oasis of sorts, like for sure, because there is still water features coming into here, but at the same time, it's certainly no North Carolina.
Yeah,
you're not doing the Appalachians and all of those stuff. For sure. And adding to the water feature, the water features or like the greenery, I guess, what we could talk about is that, we do have like a couple major reservoirs here. So we have Sand Hollow as well as Quail Creek. These are pretty major like reservoirs where people do their boating, they do their swimming and all that stuff. So you have some water features, but it's not like you have the ocean or anything or like major lakes here.
Yeah.
We don't have that, but we do what we can, basically.
Yeah, I would say it's probably better than what you'd think.
Yes.
But yeah, I think some people think of St. George as just like Palm Springs, like how we were saying, which is just brown, and it's not like that at all. It's definitely much greener, much more trees. I actually think the green here is very beautiful, vibrant shade of green that I like a lot, but it's not, like Sean was saying, it's not North Carolina. It's not like the mountains of Tennessee or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Another con for some people is there are some kind of weird liquor laws here. So basically, it's pretty difficult to get alcohol, I would say. So anything that's above 4%, you cannot buy it in the grocery store. You have to buy it in the state liquor stores. So, for us personally, like, we don't drink. I just don't personally like drinking. So for me, the only time that it really affects me is if I'm cooking something and it calls for wine and then I don't have it, or it calls for sherry or something like that and I don't have it. And if it's a Sunday, then the state liquor store, then it's closed. Or if it's a holiday, like if I'm like, oh, it's a 3-day weekend, I want to make this nice, thing, can't get it. So yeah.
Yeah. So like you'll notice like Costco's obviously like been known to sell hard alcohol certainly and wines, like big time wine sellers. And then Costco here, for instance, they sell beer, but nothing else. Like, so that's kind of where there is a certain limit based off of the alcohol content. So just be aware of that. And that does bleed into a lot of the restaurants too. So where there are restaurants that have full service bars, but there's not that many of them. And I think that a lot of it's also just to do with how many people are actually asking for it.
Yeah.
I think that it's less about this huge restriction on the restaurants. I'm sure that there are restrictions for sure, but also is the public demanding it? And I think, again, there's breweries, there are some restaurants that do offer it. It's just that not every restaurant has a full bar by any stretch.
Yeah, so we're in the downtown area here, and there is, quote, nightlife here, but I mean, it's definitely not what you would be thinking. I guess that's another con, is if you're looking for, lots of nightlife, that kind of stuff. I mean, we do have it, but it's limited, right? We have bars, there's a few bars just out over that way. We do have, like Sean was saying, many restaurants have full bars. There are breweries here, but it's limited, right? Yeah,
and bleeding into that part, so we're talking about the nightlife. So as far as indoor entertainment options in general, that's a bit on the limited side too. So if we do actually have a surprisingly decent Broadway, like theater scene.
We do, and we have the Tuacan Amphitheater.
Yeah, so we do have some. It's just that it's not like, again, that's why Vegas is like an hour 45 minutes down the way. So if you want professional sports teams playing, you got Vegas. If you want again, nightlife type things. Obviously, I think Vegas has kind of been known for that a little bit. So the thing is, what's nice is that when you have that itch, unless you're like a raging partier. Okay, if you're a raging partier, this is not the place for you. But if you want to get some of that sometimes, I mean, like an hour 45 minutes down the road, you're good. But again, I would just definitely say that, here in of itself is not a big indoor. Like we're fantastic for the outdoor stuff.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. Like really I'm nearly unmatched. Well, like we're right up with anywhere else as far as outdoor stuff. Yeah. It's the indoor nightlife thing that we're, again, not very well known for.
Yeah. Now, this last one's going to seem a little bit weird because one of the major reasons that people move out here is because we have these beautiful, pleasant winters, right? I don't know if you can tell, but it's winter now because you got the leaves are, off the tree. So, but it's very pleasant. I mean, you need a light jacket on most days and you got blue skies, right? But it isn't as pleasant of a winter as I would say like Florida or maybe some other areas that have a little bit warmer of a winter. So if you're looking for like a truly warm winter, it might be a little bit colder than what you're expecting.
Yeah, a little bit on the chillier side. I mean, it's not like, again, plenty of people can move here from snow covered areas and all that stuff where they're like over that.
Yeah.
So this is like a dream for vast majority of people. Honestly, we're kind of being nitpicky here, but because the winter, like compared to most of the world, is actually very nice. Yeah. But again, I would say that, Florida or like the South for that, that matter, or let's say we're not going to talk about California because California's weather is like the best in the world. But like as far as like, like the South, for instance, obviously their summers are just suffocating. Honestly, pretty much every other part of the year is pretty terrible in most of these places.
Would say,
like where, so the spring, summer, fall,
it's
brutal.
Bad.
But like their winters are actually like really nice. Mm-hmm. And I would say that like, so they are probably superior to here for the winter because they are just like they're 80 degrees, right? Perpetually. But then here, obviously you do have that range where you're getting the 50s is not unusual for here at all.
Yeah, I would say 9 months out of the year, the weather is pleasant here. Whereas in a place like Florida, which I've actually lived in Florida.
It's unpleasant.
9 months is unpleasant. 3 months is pleasant.
And remember, we are licensed realtors here in the state of Utah, so as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is when you give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.